Okay, we're going live. It's unbelievable. The Jags just cannot finish this game. They got the 30 points or more we wanted. Now the game's tied 34-34 because the 40-year-old quarterback Flacco keeps throwing passes and keeps completing them, and Jags defense can't stop him. Trayvon Walker did make a really good sack in this game. Jaguars got the ball back with 1:17 to play. Nice pass out to, who was that, Farrell? Was that Farrell or Strange, the tight end that caught that one? That was number 89. Jags trying to get in the field goal range. Jaguars 34. Jaguars 34, Colts 34. Now, just from that completion by Trevor Lawrence, Gus Bradley, by the way, former Jags head coach, is a defensive coordinator for the Colts. He looks a little nervous on the sidelines, but they all do. Balky could get blown out if they blow this 2-touchdown lead they had earlier in the fourth quarter. 34 for Jacksonville, 34 for Indianapolis. It's a live stream here. Nice pass. Trevor Lawrence finds Christian Kirk on the sidelines. Trevor kind of threw that ball coming back the other way, the opposite side of the field. It looks like he was moving to the left and threw it back to the right. Kirk caught it, squeezed it at the 35, and then kind of danced the sidelines. Looks like he went out of bounds at the 31. A field goal can win it for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Looks like Little, number 39, the kicker, rookie out of Arkansas. Arkansas upset Tennessee on Saturday, one day earlier. Cam Little used to kick for them, and now he's a rookie kicker in the National Football League. Trevor hands the ball off straight ahead, running back. Looks like they're trying to line up for a potential game-winning field goal. Jaguars, the running back only got a yard up the middle. I didn't even see who got the carry there. See what happens here. It's Indianapolis Colts 34, Jacksonville Jaguars 34. 27 seconds to go on the game clock. Here we are at the conclusion of the game. Unbelievable. Cam Little warming up on the sidelines with probably a long field goal attempt to try to win it. 27 seconds to go. It's 2nd down and 9. I'm assuming the Jags got some timeouts. I believe they do. I'm sure the Jags got most of their full complement of timeouts. I hope they do. Lawrence breaks the huddle. Jaguars 2nd and 9, down around the Colts 30. And this is the situation you want to be in with a chance to kick it as the clock runs out. Tank Bigsby, who had a long touchdown run much earlier in the fourth quarter. This has been a long fourth quarter. 23 seconds. Somebody's called timeout, I believe. Jags must have called timeout. Jaguars have 2 timeouts left. Colts 1 timeout left, as it's just flashed on our monitor here. 3rd down and 11. And let me turn some things down here. We are live stream. And this will play back later if you didn't have a chance to join us live. Okay, Cam Little's warming up on the sidelines. 3rd down and 11 coming up. The Jags trying to they lost a yard on that last play, back to inside the 32-yard line of the Colts. Trevor Lawrence calling signals. He's got a touchdown pass in this game to Brian Thomas Jr. for about 85 yards way back in the first quarter. Another run kind of to the right hash for about a yard by, I believe that was Dearness Johnson. Not seeing ETN in there right now. ETN had a shoulder injury last week, but he's played today. Maybe he's not 100%. Cam Little's coming out there on 4th down and 10. Still 21 seconds to play. Seems like you should have milked the clock down a little bit and just made this the last play of the game, but I'm just the host of the podcast. The Teal Shirt Report podcast. I'm Scott. Career long for Cam Little, 53 yards. This attempt, apparently, according to the setup, is about 49 yards. Indianapolis Colts 34, Jacksonville Jaguars 34, 21 seconds to play. Here we go. Here's a snap. And the kick. The kick is up. It looks like it's in there with 17 seconds to go. It's good. The Jaguars have a 37-34 lead, trying desperately to win their first game of the year. This is in front of the home fans, but there's 17 seconds to play. Why didn't you milk the clock down to the last play of the game? Why leave any time on the clock? This is my thoughts, food for thoughts here. Little hit it good, really split the uprights right in the middle. Plenty of distance on that kick, which was 49 yards. He had extra room. He could have made that from 55, 56 yards. Split the uprights. A lot of power behind the kick. No penalties. Jaguars with a 37-34 lead with, what did we say, about 17 seconds to go. So that means it'll be a Jaguars kickoff. And I see Flacco on the sidelines, watched it go in. He got dejected, but he may get a play or two yet. Indianapolis has 24 points in the fourth quarter. Think about that. The Jaguars just could not put them away. They had a 2-touchdown lead earlier in the fourth quarter. Nice long touchdown run by Tank Bigsby. Brian Thomas Jr. caught a electrifying 85-yard touchdown pass from Trevor Lawrence way back in the first quarter. Jaguars have scored enough to win. The defense, they've had trouble at times containing Flacco. What else can you say? Jaguars with injuries, but the Colts with a lot of injuries too. This is the National Football League. That's the way it goes. Colts break the huddle. Apparently, the ball went into the end zone. Colts come back out to the 30. First down and 10. I wouldn't put anything past Flacco here. 16 seconds as he gets a snap. Throws a ball. It's incomplete. Looks like it's off the hands of a Colt around midfield. That stops the clock with 12 seconds to go. Why would you leave him anytime? You could have milked the clock. I give up. Let's just see what happens. 12 seconds to go. Trevor Lawrence is smiling on the sidelines. Coach Doug Peterson's backing his players up on the sidelines. There's time for 2 more plays. Flacco hits a long pass. They can kick a tying field goal here. But the ball is at the Colts' 30-yard line. Flacco going back to pass. He's being chased. He's being hit. Trayvon Walker is going to get him and take him down to the ground around the 11 or 12-yard line for a sack, and that's at least Trayvon's second sack of the football game. We'll have to check all the stats out, but that's 2 big sacks by Trayvon Walker, and the clock is going to wind down and run out, and the Jaguars won the football game. Jaguars win it 37-34. Let's give Trayvon Walker his due there, a sack in the game. Let's see, the network switches to Buffalo, Houston. It's 2020, Buffalo and Houston. Man, and I picked Buffalo. Houston had the lead most of the way in this one. Buffalo's come back. Buffalo is, the spread was 1 point. Buffalo favored by 1. I picked Buffalo. Come on, Buffalo, right? Well, they got a football pool involved here. That's for informational purposes only. You guys will see this a little later. This is live stream. Let's see what's going on now. Wow, Buffalo 20, Houston 20. God, Baltimore and Cincinnati, what a great game. Jacksonville 37, Indianapolis Colts 34. The final. Jaguars win their first game of the year. They're 1-4. Hey, if the Jags didn't win today, I was going to say, what the heck? Fire Balky. 0-5 is just reprehensible. I'm watching a little bit of the Bills game. I see Washington killed Cleveland today. A lot of games going on. The Raiders-Denver game getting underway. Looks like Buffalo is going to have to punt deep in their own end zone. Game's 20, 16 seconds to play. This one looks like it's headed to overtime. The Buffalo punter's got to get it out of there. Just 13 seconds to play because the Texans might get in field goal range with a good return here. They did get the ball over midfield to near the Bill 45-yard line. I don't know if they'll try a kick with 7 seconds to go because right now, if you snap the kick at the 45, it's a 62-yard kick. I mean, they got a pretty good kicker, Fairburn. Will he try to kick a 62-yarder to win the game? I think they will. 7 seconds to go. Maybe they run one play if they've got a timeout. I don't know. Wow, this is rough. Buffalo lost to Baltimore last week. We'll check some other scores. Cincinnati and Baltimore tied up 38-38. A lot of points in that game. Jacksonville. The good news is our Jacksonville Jaguars beat Indianapolis. Jacksonville Jaguars 37, Indianapolis 34. Yeah, Brenton Strange had a pretty good day. I believe he scored for the Jags. I'm trying to remember all the scoring plays. We know that Brian Thomas Jr. scored in the first quarter. Yeah, Strange. We got some Strange in the end zone. Strange made a great catch of it was really a high pass by Trevor. Strange came down with it. That was a touchdown in the fourth quarter. It looks like there's 2 seconds left. And Houston has advanced the ball a little bit further down on the last play. Let's see where this Fairburn. I didn't even see the last play, how much yardage they got. I'm sure our executive producer did, being a big Buffalo Bill fan. I think they got 5 yards on that play. So now that 62-yarder becomes like, 57 yards now, I believe. Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills quarterback, not Josh Hines Allen, but Josh Allen on the sidelines looking at his tablet, hoping he gets a shot in overtime. This kick is going to be 50. It looks like they're going to line it up at the 49, and it's going to be a 59-yard field goal attempt. Here comes a kick. It looks like it's hooking out. Now back in. It's good. Houston's going to win this thing 23-20 as the final gun sounds. What was the old saying on ABC? The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. That was the old ABC Worldwide Sports thing. Buffalo with the agony of defeat again. Houston Texans 23, Buffalo Bills 20. Fairburn, he's being picked up and he's on the shoulders of some of the players with a big kick. And the kick, good hold. I'm looking at the kick again. It was kind of going left and then it hooked back into the right and right through there. And a long field goal. Looked like one of the Buffalo Bills Mafia guys tried to pull his shirt up where the kicker'd have to look at his tummy. And Houston wins. They got a good team. Houston's got a good team, got a good quarterback. Buffalo's, they're going to be in the playoff hunt. Buffalo will probably win their division, but they lost today. Houston Texans 23, Buffalo Bill. Houston Texans 23, Buffalo Bills 20. Think about the old Beatles song, Bungalow Bill. Okay, now they're switching. And the Baltimore-Cincinnati game is tied 38-38. A lot of points by the Cincinnati offense. Man, I tell you, Cincinnati and Baltimore putting a lot of points on the board, 38-38, late in the fourth quarter. And who's got the ball? Let's see who's got the ball. 4th down and 8 coming up. They're switching from game to game to game. You're in the teal shirt report zone. We're keeping up with the National Football League. We'll give you some other scores too. Buffalo unlated Carolina. Chicago Bears 36, Carolina 10. Miami Dolphins beat New England 15-10. Cleveland got killed by Washington. The Washington Commanders 34. That's Cleveland 13, I believe. Arizona, San Francisco getting underway. Let's see. The Las Vegas Raiders 7, Denver nothing. First quarter. Been some good football. Jaguars. Whew. They couldn't close this game out. Took a field goal at the end by rookie kicker Cam Little to win the game. What was that kick? 49 yards by Cam Little. Jaguars win the game. Trevor Lawrence had a couple of touchdown passes. Tank Bigsby a long run. And it actually looks like Cincinnati is punting. They do, and the punt rolls out of bounds. And looks like the clock runs out into regulation. Baltimore and Cincinnati 38-38. Lamar Johnson's got kind of an evil look on his face on the sidelines. Joe Burrow's looking at his tablet. So you got into regulation there. Pretty good football. We're live. It's a live stream, baby. Right here on the Teal Shirt Report podcast at bigjreport.com. And I'm your host, Scott, sponsored by Salsa Realty and Capital. Like you follow hits.com, great internet radio, and the Mad Max Mix. Weebly.com. So we got a lot of scoring today across the NFL in most of the games. Miami beat New England 15-10. That was one of the lower scoring games. Looks like they're going to have the coin flip between Cincinnati and Baltimore. Overtime, 38 for Baltimore, 38 for the Cincinnati Bengals. Bills get beat by 3 points by Houston. It looked like the guy with Baltimore's calling heads. It is heads. It looks like Baltimore's going to get the ball first, I believe. We got overtime football. Baltimore and Cincinnati tied 38-38. Let's see what happens in this one, huh? So we'll check NFL score. Jaguars win. And you know, on the Facebook group, we put scores up. So I'll do that. Marcus Medlock put finally a win. I mean, how do you let Joe Flacco score 34 points on you? My gosh. I mean, that's part of the problem there. The defense has played good most of the year, except against Buffalo. Gave up too many points against the Colts. Jaguars win this one. They're 1-4, 1 up and 4 down. Brian Thomas Jr., a big 85-yard touchdown catch. That was a big play. Trevor Lawrence to Brian Thomas Jr., I believe that was late in the first quarter. Tank Bigsby on a long run. I don't know how long it was, but it looked like it was 40 or 50 yards or more. Tank Bigsby took off, scored a touchdown. There was a high pass by Trevor in the end zone that was hauled in by Brenton Strange, the tight end. That's 3 of the touchdowns. Some field goals, obviously, by the Jags kicker, Cam Little, to win the game. Still, there was a few seconds left, and the Jags had to stop them. 38-38 Bengals and the Ravens. Baltimore, Cincinnati tied 38-38. Jags win 37-34 over the Indianapolis Colts. Indy Colts. And I'm updating the scores. Our Facebook group, Big J Report Facebook group. So we keep the scores going, but man, there was too many points. What did they score? The Colts scored did they score 24 points in the fourth quarter or something ridiculous like that? They tied the game up. Jags had to kick a field goal with less than 20 seconds to play. I think there were 17 seconds to play when the Jags, Cam Little kicked a 49-yard field goal to win the game. Amazing. Jags win, right? First win of the year. Jags running back Tank Bigsby scored on a long touchdown run. And we'll check some other NFL scores. Baltimore, Cincinnati tied up 38-38 in overtime. Let's check some other NFL scores, as we're not going to be here that much longer, as far as the live stream goes. But we got the Jaguars in the books. Jaguars, obviously, with a 37-34 win. Checking some scores across the NFL. Again, Baltimore, Cincinnati tied 38-38. The game is in the overtime. Overtimes are 10 minutes in length, by the way. And we'll check some other scores. Again, Miami won. We picked Miami to win today over New England. Miami did win. Miami Dolphins 15, Patriots 10. Baltimore's got the ball. Baltimore's 2. Cincinnati is 1-3, so they both need this win. We'll check some scores of some games already in the books, because this game is in overtime. Thursday night, Atlanta Falcons beat Tampa Bay. Atlanta Falcons 36, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 30 on Thursday night football. Atlanta Falcons 36, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 30. Final in overtime. That game was back on Thursday night, October the 3rd, right? We did 2 podcasts that are in the can, that are in the audio vault across the audio platforms. We did 2 on Saturday. We've done 2 today on Sunday. The ones on Sunday are not in the audio platforms, but on YouTube. So please subscribe to our channel. We got some more scores to tell you about. Let's take a look. The early game, there was an early game across the pond. Minnesota Vikings 23, New York Jets 17, Baltimore Cincinnati 38 in overtime. The Bears beat a hapless. Carolina is still probably the worst team in the NFL. The Chicago Bears 36, Carolina Panthers 10. Minnesota Vikings in an early game today. Minnesota Vikings 23, New York Jets 17. Again, the Chicago Bears 36, Carolina 10, a final score. Houston beat Buffalo. Houston Texans get a field goal at the end of the game by Fairburn. Houston Texans 23, Buffalo Bills 20, the final score. Our Jacksonville Jaguars 37, Indianapolis Colts 34. And the amazing thing to me is the Colts had so many players injured, and the Colts still scored 34 points with Joe Flacco. They kept coming back and back. The Jags just couldn't finish off the game. And the Jaguars are very fortunate to pull out that victory, 37-34. The Jags had some offensive punch with Trevor Lawrence throwing a couple of touchdown passes. Tank Bigsby, a long touchdown run. Cam Little doing a good job as a field goal kicker, kicking the long field goal at the end. What was that field goal? 49 yards by Cam Little with probably 17 seconds to go in the game. So, again, the Colts did get one final chance to run 2 or 3 plays, and then that was it, and the Jaguars win the game. Jacksonville Jaguars 37, the Indianapolis Colts 34, the final score. Minnesota 23, New York Jets 17. I'm checking some other scores. Miami Dolphins 15, New England Patriots 10. We probably won't be here much longer on the stream, but what about the Washington Commanders? You know, they've got a rookie quarterback too, and they're winning. They've looked pretty good the last couple of weeks. Washington football team, Washington Commanders 34, Cleveland Browns 13. I tell you, Cleveland. And look at Baltimore just fumbled the ball. I think Cincinnati's got it. The Cincinnati defense, they've got the ball, and that's critical. They got the ball way down around the Baltimore 40. I believe this game is in Cincinnati. Oh, John Harbaugh's not happy on the sidelines. Oh, he grimaced in pain on the sidelines. My goodness. What's this world coming to? Pratt, number 57, picked up the fumble. I'm going to look at the highlight again. Lamar Jackson just dropped the ball. He just didn't get a good handle on it. It was a good snap, a good shotgun snap to him. He fumbled the ball. He got loose, and a bingo grabbed it, and he just didn't catch it. Now, the snap did go a little bit to his left, but not anything out of the ordinary. Lamar just could not handle the snap, and he fumbled it, bobbled it, and then it was on the ground. Lamar goes to the sidelines with his Ravens toboggan on his head. One of them knit caps, I guess. Ravens on defense, and now Cincinnati runs it for about a yard. They're probably going to try to set up for a field goal to try to win this thing in overtime. It's the last 3 games we've watched have all come down to field goals. Washington Redskins 34, Cleveland Browns 13. I should say the Washington Commanders 34, the Cleveland Brownies 13. Miami Dolphins 15, New England 10. That's a final. Miami Dolphins win. That's a big AFC Eastern Division game. Cincinnati's going to try to win this thing. It's Baltimore 38, Cincinnati 38. Looks like maybe Cincinnati called timeout. 5:42 to play in the overtime, but Baltimore's already had their shot at the ball. So all Cincinnati just got to do is score, kick a field goal. They go home with a win. So we'll try to keep it right here on the live stream. Thank you for being with us on the Teal Shirt Report podcast, brought to you by Salsa Realty in Capital, LakeUpalaHits.com. Great internet radio where it's all good. Our executive producer will be in the pub, Brother JC. He'll be in the pub on Thursday night, at LakeUpalaHits.com. Great internet radio where it's all good. The Thursday night show, Live in the Pub with JC, is going to be every Thursday night. It's been going on for, a few weeks, few months now. Great show. 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Is the field goal kicker out there now? No. The Bengals are still going to run a play. It would be a long 55-yarder right now. So I'm sure the Bengals still plenty of time. 2nd down and 10. I'm sure they'd like to get it much closer. They'd love to score a touchdown, probably. They just run it up the middle for a couple of yards. 3rd down coming up. It's going to end up being a long field goal. It's going to come down to a long field goal, probably. Unless the Bengals can, get a first down. It's 3rd down and 7 on the next play. So Washington kills Cleveland. Washington Commanders 34, the Cleveland Brownies 13. The Commodores and the Commanders both won this weekend. The Ed White Commanders defeated the Atlantic Coast. What's the name of their team in high school football? The Atlantic Coast Stingrays, I believe. Ed White Commanders won that game with some good defense on Friday night in Jacksonville. The Bengals don't do anything but run it about a half yard up the middle, trying to line up a long field goal, which is going to be a 4th down, probably a 54, 55-yard kick. And here comes McPherson, who used to kick at Florida. I believe he was a former Florida Gator kicker, I believe. Evan McPherson, 14 straight field goals made, I believe. This will be a long one. This will be a challenge. This one's going to be, they got it to the 35 of Baltimore. So this is actually, when it's snapped, it's going to be held at the 42. It's going to be about a 52-yard attempt. So well within his range, but it's still a lengthy, pretty long kick. Did somebody call timeout? That happens when these game-winning field goals are attempted. 4th down and 7. If he misses the kick, Baltimore is going to get the ball back, and they'll have plenty of time. Because if he doesn't score, if he doesn't kick it and make it, then I guess Baltimore is going to get another shot. Next week, let's see, Buffalo plays at the New York Jets next week. C.J. Stroud, 28 of 38, 331 yards passing, had a touchdown and an interception. That was Houston Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud's line. I just saw that line come up. Fairburn kicked the game-winning 59-yard field goal as time expired. Houston 23, Buffalo Bills 20. And here comes the kick in overtime by Cincinnati. Let's see if Cincinnati can score and wrap up this thing in overtime. Here comes the placement. The kick is up. I think he missed it. He absolutely missed it. He missed it to the left. 38-38. So Baltimore's going to, Lamar Jackson's putting his helmet back on. They're going to come back on the field. If they don't score, heck, this game could end up tied. Looks like the snap was a little bit high. Oh, there's the problem. The field goal, the placement was not good. Snap was slightly high, but the placement, he didn't have it firmly on the ground. It slipped away, and he's kicking a football. He did get the ball up at the last second, but that's not fair to the kicker. That was not a good hold at all. Not a good. I'm glad we saw the replay there of that one. Tied up, Baltimore, Cincinnati, tied up 38-38. And here we are on the live stream. We've been into this thing for about 28 minutes. Baltimore's got the ball back. They're running the ball. They got a first down and more. So now it looks like Baltimore is going to win this football game because the running back just took off all the way down inside the 15, inside the 10. Some guy with a Ray Lewis jersey is going crazy in the stands, wearing number 52, an old Ray Lewis jersey. One of those throwbacks. Yeah, Baltimore's going to win this game now. They got the ball inside the 10, so they can either score a touchdown to win the game or kick a field goal to win the game. Wow, both teams have had a possession. I think Cincinnati did not have a lot of urgency to get another first down. They were just lining up for a long field goal. That may have been a mistake. Run the clock down. Try to get a first down. I don't think that was very good clock management or overtime management by Cincinnati at all. You got John Harbaugh, one of the dean of coaches in the NFL. He says, man, hey, you just gave us another chance. We went from the throes of defeat to the elation of a possible victory, as Joe Namath would say way back in the late 1960s, when Joe Namath called, we're going to win the game. And they won the Super Bowl over the Colts, one of the very early Super Bowls. My goodness. Yeah, that field goal, man, that was an adventure. Well, the snap was not the best. It was a little bit high, but the snap was not the problem. The guy it slipped out of the guy's hand that tried to hold it, and it's on the ground. It's almost flat on the ground. He's having to pick it up before the kicker gets to it, and just did in time. Here comes the kick. Baltimore's going to go ahead and kick it. I think that's the best kicker in the league. That's Tucker. He's going to put it through. Baltimore wins the game. That's it. Both teams had a possession. Baltimore actually had 2 possessions in the game. Baltimore wins it on the field goal. Baltimore 41. The Cincinnati Bengals 38. It's a final in overtime. Are there any more scores we can look at before we go? Well, we want to mention the Jacksonville Jaguars here on the Teal Shirt Report podcast. The Jacksonville Jaguars 37. The Indianapolis Colts 34. The Jaguars finally break through with a victory. Minnesota beat the Jets. Minnesota Vikings 23, New York Jets 17. And, the problem is I picked, this is a perfect example of football. I mean, I picked Cincinnati. Baltimore's a 2.5-point favorite. Baltimore covers by 3 points with a field goal in overtime. Wow. So there's a lot of 4:00 games going on. We won't dwell on those, but we may talk about those tomorrow morning or sooner or later. Thank you for tuning in to this live stream on the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for being here on the Teal Shirt Report podcast. We came on, with a minute or two left of the Jaguars game. Jaguars win it. Jacksonville Jaguars win with a field goal from Cam Little, 49-yard field goal in the last 17 seconds of the game. Green Bay and the LA Rams are now playing in the first quarter. I picked Green Bay to win this game, by the way. We'll see what happens, but we're going to leave you for now. This has been a live stream on the Teal Shirt Report Podcast Network. I'm Scott for BigJReport.com. This has been the Teal Shirt Report Podcast. Jags finally win in 2024. The Jacksonville Jaguars are now 1-4 on the season. Again, the Jacksonville Jaguars with a victory. The Jacksonville Jaguars 37 and the Indianapolis Colts 34. A lot of points in this one. The most points we've seen really in a Jags game by both teams. We know about the annihilation when Buffalo destroyed the Jaguars on Monday Night Football, back about 2-3 weeks ago. Green Bay's playing the Rams. Jordan Love playing much better football these days. I think Balky might have survived another day. I was thinking, if the Jags had lost today, I'm thinking Balky, he might have said, what's that famous line? You're fired here to happen. Khan might have had to grow some and fire Balky. He's wanting to pinch those Benjamins. This has been the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Special thanks to our executive producer, JC. Also, thanks to another producer, Alex Nunnery. And I want to say hello to John Gaylor. John Gaylor, our contributor and correspondent of the podcast, Teal Shirt Report podcast. How about the Ed White Commanders? Beat Atlantic Coast. Florida Gators beat UCF. Florida Gators with a 24-13 win over Central Florida. Alabama got beat by Vandy. Vandy 40. Alabama 35. I called Texas A&M beating Missouri 41-10. Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss 27. South Carolina 3, and that was at South Carolina too. Florida State got whipped by Clemson 29-13. Clemson covered also in that game. Washington Huskies 27, Michigan Wolverines 17. Miami of Florida Hurricanes came from behind. Miami of Florida Hurricanes 39, the California Golden Bears 38, Florida 24, UCF 13, and the Georgia Bulldogs, after losing last week to Alabama. Whoa, Nelly, Georgia beat up on Auburn. What was it, 31-13, I believe. Georgia 31, Auburn 13. That's some of the college football. We gave you some NFL scores on this Sunday, October the 6th. Thanks for tuning into our live stream. And please, hey, my name is Scott. I'm your host for the Teal Shirt Report podcast. If you're watching our video, you want to help us, click the, what button is it? The thumbs up button. And subscribe to the channel. That'd be great. You guys have a great day. Jaguars had a good day, not a great day. Man, they couldn't finish it. And then finally the field goal kicker came in and got to help get the Jags finish off a Jaguars victory. So I guess they did finish it with a field goal at the end with Arkansas rookie kicker Cam Little kicking now for the Jaguars. 49-yard field goal to close the game out. Jacksonville Jaguars 37 and the Indianapolis Colts 34. Jacksonville Jaguars 37, Indianapolis Colts 34. Thank you for tuning in to the Teal Shirt Report podcast. You guys have a great one. It's Sunday. Take care. Talk to you soon.